Good morning, chat. How are you doing, guys? Good morning, all. Yes, sir. Let's get it. Let's get it. Is music playing? Yeah, music is playing. We are good. Interesting day yesterday. FOMC. Gold pushed up. I'll explain why in a minute. GJ went down, which is possibly yesterday we saw inflation was pretty high, so they're expecting aggressive interest rates. And that is probably the reason why we saw GJ go down. And also today, later on we have the interest rate decision. They're expecting a 0.25, excuse me, 0.25% rate increase. I think with all of the banks going on, I think probably they'll follow USA as well and do a 0.25, but I wouldn't be surprised to see a 0.5 because basically the inflation is not doing too well in UK, so I wouldn't be surprised to see them be more aggressive. And after the reaction from yesterday, they they might try more of an aggressive approach because they stated that their banks are not under threat. So I wouldn't be surprised to see the interest rate decision come out today bigger than expected. And let's go ahead and do the analysis here. Daily candle did close bearish, still in the range, okay? So the problem is here, we're still in this range that we've been stuck in. Didn't break out the top, didn't break out the bottom. We're just still ranging inside of this zone here, right? Same thing on the 4-hour. We tried yesterday to break above, but failed to hold support above our 4-hour resistance, right? And if we bring back some drawings, we have this resistance here. Is it relevant anymore? Not anymore, right? So we failed to hold support above here. We tried, failed, and came back below, and now it's basically irrelevant at the moment. And we're just basically trading back at the range lows here at the support. So if we look at how the 4-hour candles have been closing, previous close bullish here after so many bearish candles. We are at support. For me to entertain buys, I probably need to see this daily candle flip and probably us at least getting and holding support above 161.300. For sells, I probably want to see us break this range and hold resistance below the range here. Selling back down to the lows, let's measure it. There could be a possibility here. Yeah, 18, 19 pips. Yeah, it's possible we could sell as price breaks back into this. I'm going to count this as a mixed session, but the problem is selling into this 4-hour support is very, very risky. We've seen the reaction and basically the response that we've had from this support before, and we just have to be careful of that. So there might be an option here, but we need more information on the chart, and we need to see what's going on ultimately here, right? Because we've broken the highs. Prefer to see the lows broken. Would give me more confidence here if we are going to continue down. But yeah, the bias is more bearish than bullish here, but I'm just understanding that this was a pullback. Mostly also could be caused by news. If we see something similar to what happened there last time, we could see a similar type move where we have this kind of support formed here and then we start to break out. So let's see what happens and populate a few ideas as we get some more information on the chart. As for gold, on the other hand here, gold yesterday tried to break out. I mean, it tried to break down but failed at this 4-hour support. We started flagging sideways, and just literally before FOMC, we tried to start breaking out here, and FOMC gave us the breakout. Now, the reason we saw this breakout yesterday is because basically what happened is they did increase rates as expected. So since they increased rates as expected, once the speech came out, they started, so that was no shock to the market, right? Rates came out as expected, nothing is shocking the markets. And that gave a good signal to the economy that, listen, we're still fighting inflation. Inflation is still a problem. And that came very evident in Jay Powell's speech. He was saying that, look, inflation is still a problem, and we're still going to keep increasing interest rates until it starts to cool down, right? We're not thinking of doing a pivot. We're not pivoting interest rates. Until it cools down, we're going to keep hiking interest rates here, right? And that's why we saw gold go up, because people's reaction was to, okay, fine, inflation's still a problem. I need a hedge to inflation. Gold is like a hedge to inflation. So we saw gold go up here. So what do I expect to happen for gold today? Well, obviously the daily candle has closed nicely bullish here, creating a support, breaking the high. I don't see why we don't head up to 1988 today. Looking at the 4-hour, we have a 4-hour resistance right here, right? So that's our only problem which we're facing at the moment. Now, this is a pretty big reaction. I do expect, you know, a retest at some point. It would be healthy. But for today, it's a little bit tough because we're kind of at target. News kind of gave us the push. So let's have a look. Your best... Yeah, it's tough at the moment. It's tough. I would prefer really to see a pullback from here, then to continue to go up. If not, holding support above here, expecting volume to give you the continuation, and just rely on structure to push through these zones. So even though we have resistance here, we would have to rely on structure to ignore this resistance, you know, and then we can look to target 1984 or something, right? And essentially 1988 eventually at the weekly resistance, right? So that's basically what I'm looking for on gold here. Upside is what makes sense, but we're just in a little bit of a tough spot at the moment. Kind of how GJ is at 4-hour support and gold is at 4-hour resistance, right? Literally doing opposites. So yeah, that's basically the analysis. If you guys have any questions, let me know. If you like that analysis, leave a like on the stream. I would appreciate it. Do the YouTube business. You know the drill. And yeah. Ethereum. Yeah, Bitcoin, you know, I'll basically analyze Bitcoin because Ethereum will basically be the same, as you can see. So Bitcoin here yesterday, we saw this dump. So we tried to pop off here. We're still not closing below this daily support. So there's no issues for continuous downside. This is simply a pullback in my eyes for now, especially after this reaction here. I would be careful of 28,136. This is where we're going to reject if we're going to reject. But for me, Bitcoin is just flagging out a bit and it's still bullish posturing. Until we get closes below 26,439, I don't think we'll see Bitcoin continue down any further. I expect sideways and up, and maybe until we break this range, right? Because for me, it's just, it's still ranging here, right? And we just came and retested the bottom of the range where this wick is. Remember how I was telling you guys Bitcoin likes to respect wicks? So it's respecting this wick right here, right? That's a area of interest for Bitcoin at the moment, and yeah. So yeah, simple analysis here. So for GJ, what are we doing? We're already at target, so we need to extend target. You know, the only way we can take sells here is to hit price again for a second time. But the issue I have here is we've done this twice already, right? We've come down, rejected one. That's number one. We've done it again, number two. Can I expect number three? It's a bit asking for much. If I expect number three, I'd rather get below, show me resistance, and I can take sells here, right? Selling into here, you know, I'm asking for a lot. I'm asking for a lot because I'm asking for it to come back for a third time after we rejected twice, right? So as a plan, I can write here. Bias. The support holds. Right? That's the plan. Bias is mixed, would prefer to sell below 167.50. If the support holds, can look to buy above 161.300. Very simple. Man, chat is very quiet today. What's going on? Everyone's sleeping or what? Come on. Guys have to be energetic in the morning. It's time to trade. Time to work. What's max TP? I'll be targeting this kind of resistance here, 500 first. This also comes from that 30-minute type thing here. Also a 1 hour type thing here, right? We can see in the past how many times we got rejection from here. So that's first TP. That gives us a range of 25 pips. Second TP will be, of course, this support down here at 16300. Right, 16300. And then max TP is probably going to be all the way down here at 159,740. So yeah, definitely a lot of targets. TP 1, 2, 3. But for now, we're trying to hold support. And I will need price to hold support above here to continue up bullish. Because the last thing I want to see happen is we come here, retest, fake out, come back in the range, and then I could have sold from here. So it's a very tricky, this is a tough spot. You know, you kind of have to, I hate to have these type of mixed buyers, looking for buys, looking for sells, but you really have to have two ideas in your head at this moment, just to understand that maybe yesterday's sell-off was caused a bit by news. If we were not at 4 hours support, if we had a clean range to trade towards the downside, then I won't really care at this moment, right? If this was clean and we close below this support here, even though the 4 hour closed bullish, I would say it's only one 4 hour candle closing bullish, and we've had a lot of bearish candles here. So at the break of the lows, it would make sense to sell. But the issue I have here is we're right at 4 hour support. So I have to populate an idea what makes sense in my session, right? And what makes sense in my session is to be able to have this kind of dynamic trading style today, where I can adapt to two different forms that the market might do, right? So I would like to see a 30-minute closure first above this zone, and then for it to respect the zone by holding support. Once it holds support, I could look to take it up further. But if price is going to fake out, and you can remember this, okay? Remember this. If price is going to fake out, it's going to do it right here. You're going to see price close above. Everyone's going to take buys, thinking it's going to reach here. And we'll see this close back in the range and continue down. And that close, I can potentially take sells. That's why I want to see this close above and be patient to see the support creation, then to take price. If I don't get the support creation and it just pushes up, it's not in my plan. And I'm happy to sit out on that, right? Yesterday, post news, we had buy option. I did write it in the group, so all of you guys in the group, I did write it both in Discord and Telegram. I said, look, I'm looking for buys above. I think I did say, I did give a number here. I said above, yeah, 520, and as soon as it broke 520, so I'm saying closures or breaks. So we got a closure, and then we got the break, and yeah, that was pretty clean trade towards the upside. A lot of pullbacks though, so it was not the easiest, but if you just held your stop in place and didn't touch it, it would have hit TP quite nicely before rejecting and eventually continue up further and further. But I did give that free cookie in the group feast signal, and none of you guys appreciated it, right? So no one appreciated it. People just took profits, and so no more free cookies. People have to drink more coffee. Yeah, they need to jack up on that caffeine, man. Fully. You know, fully. So if you guys have any pairs you want me to look at, I don't mind looking at that. Any questions, shoot me the questions, and we will, yeah. It's 28 of us here and 12 likes. Let's at least get it to 15, you know, just so we can get the stream out to more. As I said, if I get the stream to 100 viewers, I'll do a giveaway, but it's not seeming to work. So there's obviously an issue going on here, and I need to problem solve how to fix this issue. I think YouTube does not help, and post when I release my video, I don't think people get notifications. You guys need to turn your notifications on for my videos, right? That's super important, because there's so many people who come in here and they're like, they come in here and they're like, oh, I didn't know you live stream. I just got the notification. It's like, yeah, you don't turn on notifications. You don't turn on notifications, you're not gonna know. Hey you. Yes sir. Let's have a look at AU. Favorite pair. Yeah, this is looking good, man. Already from this, I can see some action. Closed above. Wick fill. I think you can come back and fill this wick. This is looking good, daily. Yeah, I think you can fill the wick and potentially up to 0.67699. Just need to find an entry here. This would have been the best entry right here. This closure or this closure. Now what are we having? I think if this 15-minute... Yeah, if this 15-minute closes bullish, I think you have an option to take a trade towards the upside. To target these highs here and potentially continue. You just have to be careful once it reaches the highs, right? Oh yeah, so just so you guys know, today is interest rate decision on the pound, but that is not till New York Open. So that's gonna happen right at New York Open. So we'll see what they do. And yeah, just be careful of that. We have unemployment claims on dollar today. So that will affect gold. But in the morning we have nothing. Tomorrow, retail sales, GJ news. So yeah, a lot of news this week. PMI at 1 o'clock as well. Yeah, a lot of news, but that can bring a lot of volume into the market for next week as well, right? I don't like this wick. This is concerning. We appreciate you, Ari. Your knowledge sharing is the cookie jar. No worries. Appreciate you showing up. Yeah, this wick is only concerning. I don't like how this is rejected. You look at it, dissect it. So one thing I'll teach you guys is that what are wicks? Wicks are candles on lower time frames, right? If we have a 4-hour wick on the 15-minute, it might be a candle, right? So whenever we see a wick, we can dissect and start to see, okay, what is that wick on lower time frames? So doesn't mean you have to trade it on lower time frames. It's just sometimes you want to go dissect what it is. So we see this long wick here. We want to see what happened. Was it a 5-minute candle that just left a wick and this was a quick rejection? Or is it literally a resistance that price came up and created resistance? And what we can see here is we had this like spike, right? Basically at daily open. And I think this might be a gap actually. Let's have a look on another exchange. Yeah, you see that wick? Yeah, that's a gap. Let's see. Yeah. So that's an inconsistency, and that's why we cross-check the exchanges here. And you can see it's not there, right? Let me just double check. Yeah, see? So this is just Owanda feed. They had a little bit of a spike on open, and then it just corrected itself. So if you look at any other feed and check your broker feed, it's not the same, right? So now we just need to check that everything else lines up. Yeah, we still have this resistance. So above this resistance actually starts to look even better now. And I'm not too worried about this wick. So even though we have this wick here on the markups here, it's not the same on other brokers. So I'm not too worried about it. Could you show a wick fill versus a non-wick fill? I have a complete video on that goes into depth. I can talk a bit about it on stream, but I just want to show you the video so you can watch that, or exactly how to identify a wick being filled and a wick not being filled, right? So I'll show you that video. So if you go to videos here, right, and you scroll down, you'll see that there is wick fill versus non-wick fill somewhere in here. See? What is a rejection wick versus wick fill? 14k views. People really liked it. I like it. So definitely go watch that video here, right? Check it out. But on the real reason is you want to be following trend, and most likely when you have trend on your side, when you have trend and volume, wicks will likely be filled. So when you have trend and volume, wicks will be filled. But if you're trying to counter trend or there's no volume, those wicks will most likely end up being a rejection wick, right? So this is a downwards trend. This is a counter trend move, right? Because we were going down here. So this is likely to be a rejection wick, not a wick fill. But if now we're changing the trend and we start to see bullish pressure, this doesn't become a rejection wick. This becomes a wick fill, right? Thanks, bro, for posting the video. EJ, yeah, I can have a look at EJ. Yeah, EJ's trying to break out right now. See what daily is saying. Daily, yeah, that's a big wick here on daily. What is 4 hour saying? Yeah, 4 hour looks nice. I like this, breaking this 4 hour high here. This resistance I have drawn up seems to still be holding. If we get a 1 hour close above this resistance, yeah, if we just close above this resistance, you should probably and start to hold some sort of support or break the high. Problem is where it stops down here is a bit too deep. So we need to see some sort of structure that allows you to put stops here, and you can maybe look to take price all the way up to here, right? So yeah, bullish on this. I think I'm gonna remake this wick fill versus a rejection wick. Remake a better video on this here. Yeah, I think I'm gonna make a better version. Let me know if you guys would like a better version of this. I'll make a more simplified version with more in-depth analysis on it, right? How wicks are candles on lower time frames, how to identify it. I think I'll do that. The video never tells you what? The video tells you everything. This is a good video. It tells you exactly how to identify wick fill versus a rejection wick. So yeah, if you guys would like that, let me know. I can possibly remake that video. Remake it in a better way, simplified way. And basically explain to you guys what candles you can expect to fill the wick and what candles can you expect to be a rejection. Yeah, we can do a remake on that. I'll make a simplified version, something newer, fresher. Yeah, I'll probably do one with more examples and also explain exactly what candles, like the specific candles you expect to be filled and what candles you expect to be a rejection. Because there's actually some candles that you can expect to be filled and some candles that are more looking like a rejection, right? Like this for sure. This for sure is a candle that has a rejection here. Like that, when I see that type of, where the body is closing bullish, I expect that to be a rejection. You know? Yeah, I'll put that down in my notes so I don't forget. I'll probably make that next week. This week I'm posting a day in the life video, so be sure to check that out. And yeah, let's try blow that one up. 10 million views. Right? Learned a lesson yesterday during FOMC to wait until everyone has finished taking before taking a trade. Yeah, if you were patient yesterday in FOMC, there was more options here, right? We can have a look at it. May I ask about gold? Currently it broke resistance, waited for a pullback and entered. Is it valid? Where's your entry, man? Where is your entry? Broke resistance. You waited for a pullback. So where's your entry? You know, because we haven't flipped, nothing's happened. You have to do something once you have the full pullback. But answering that question from yesterday, yeah, wait for all of this drama. Wait for good options to form, like 15-minute support, even 5 minutes, right? Once we start to see this type of close above ranges or these type of trades in here, you can you know, look to take the trades, right? There's plenty of options in here. 1980.85. Let's have a look. Yeah, in the future, man, you don't really want to buy a bearish candle. It makes sense, but your entry rather be something like this. You rather wait for this to make a bottom wick and enter as the candle flips, because now, even though if this flips, you have a good entry, but you don't want to be holding this drawdown. When the candle flips, you're more likely not to hold any drawdown here, right? And you can do something like that. So I'd much prefer that you would, in the future, you do that. Or if you're a bit more advanced, wait for a 5-minute candle to close bullish to show you the, because you said you waited for a pullback, but after the pullback is formed, you also need support. So entering here on the flip would be a lot better here, right? To enter at the flip. Stop loss below there. And your realistic target is actually first going to be this wick fill here, right? So this is a good example of a candle that might get wick filled. But also it's at close to resistance, right? So we need to be very careful. You need volume in this, right? My 30-minute base support in GJ. Let me have a look. My 30-minute support in GJ is 162.90 below daily, or should I adjust? Yeah, I think 162.90 is very, very low here. I think your first target is going to be 160.500 in this zone, or 160.477. No worries, brother. Entry at 1977. Yeah, you should be in profits now, right? 77 flat. Don't know what I think you entered on this candle close here, right? I think the best entry of today was this, right? We have clean candle here to the left, but this was too early for me. It was not really trade at this time. We have, what do we have? This closure above here. This 15-minute closure above. Target this next resistance up here. Right? And be done. That's basically this trade here, right? Something like this. This was the best trade here. Simple like this. Closed above. Break the high. Right? Clean candle to the left. Target the next resistance here. 24 pips. You know, eventually target up there. And then, oops, stop loss below here. Right? Nice 1-to-1. Boom. Nice clean one. Nice job, man. Nice job. See this charts and chats? That's the problem, what I was saying. Why you don't want to just enter on a bearish candle. Because now you have to hold this drawdown. No candle closed bullish here. Nothing. It was just rejecting, right? So until this candle flipped would have been the better option, right? Flipped, or at least you saw a 5-minute closing bullish. Because now it broke the low. It's kind of invalidating the trade. You have to be very, very patient. A lot of people's losses in this market will come from not having patience, you know. If it just goes without you, it's fine. It's okay. You haven't missed anything, you know. You might have missed a move, but it wasn't in your plan. If you hesitated to press the button and your setup was there, that's a different mistake. But if it just went without you because you were waiting for something and that didn't happen, and you've seen and you're not making it too complicated that you miss most moves, right? That's the big problem, right? That's where you're gonna fail, is not having that patience. GJ news in 20 minutes. If you can share with me what news is coming. There's no GJ news in 20 minutes, my friend. Not that I know of, unless I'm wrong. Today my vote is bearish. Light volume, maybe some thunder. Yeah, we will see how that ends up playing out. Can you look at UJ? Yeah, I can look at UJ. USD/JPY definitely trying to break down here. 4-hour close below support, but we're in this rejection zone now. Daily is obviously bearish, breaking the low. 1-hour time frame is holding support. Yeah, I think it's pretty straightforward. Anything closing below the support here, you'll have options for sells. As for now, we're kind of ranging. We're not going anywhere. We're in this zone here. Ranging, might dip, might do this, but still ranging. For GJ, if we break the go around 161.3, yeah. Do you think it's a confirmation to enter buy position? I personally want to see us close above there and hold support, because if we're gonna fake out, the fake out's gonna happen here. Boop, like this. This is where the fake out's gonna happen. So I want to see this hold support and then continue for buys, because we're mostly bearish here, right? Daily is closing bearish. 4-hour candles are mostly closing bearish. So there's no reason why we don't continue bearish here. But I am also giving a shot, since we're at 4-hour support and we've seen these type of reactions from this zone. I'm also giving an option to maybe see a reaction, but that's going to be like this. And by support, I mean something like this, right? You can see how we create this. This is actually the trade we took on Monday, right here. And basically what I saw is I saw this come down, make a bottom wick, nice support on the 5-minute. Just give me confidence to be able to take a trade here, you know? Same thing when we came back. It wasn't the first candle closing bullish. It's when we created support and closed above. That's where the best options came. So I'm always looking to get into the best option, not the immediate option. That's a very key thing in the markets, is you should always try to look to get into the best option, not the option that's right in front of you. I have doubt why you draw support above 1-day support. I think you need to reword your question here. It doesn't make too much sense. 16600. Yes, it can come down and reject 16600, but we're not at 16600. We're at 162,200. So why are you looking all the way down at 16600, right? Somewhere around here, before we even reach the bottom of the range. You know, you have to trade where we are now. Right, I have a support. This is the most recent support. If I go on daily, we can check the next support here. Right, yeah, there is a support here, but we're not there. Once we go there, I'll end up drawing it, right? We're not there yet, you know. As I said, selling into the support is very risky zone here. You're right, that is a support, but look where we are. We're all the way up here. I don't need to worry about 600 until we're at 600. At 600, I can mark it, right? Forex Factory GBP red folder. That's at 4 p.m. and it's now 10 something in the morning. So I think your times is wrong on Forex Factory. But yes, you know, that is a support right here at 600s, but also the 4 hour is pretty clean. And we're not at 600, we're at 161, 100. So we don't have to worry about it yet. Only if price comes there, then we can worry about it. But I don't want to draw 1,000 lines on my chart. I want to have this support here because even if we close below, I have like 12, 15 pips, right? 18 pips before we hit that type of zone. Morning, Christian. Welcome. Can you make a short statement about how it affected how it will further? Can you make a clearer statement and I can answer your statement? But if you don't make a clearer statement, I won't be able to answer your statement. So I think a big mistake humans make these days is they don't think before they speak. So, okay, Fed. Thank you very much. So if we add Fed to your sentence, let's see if it still makes sense. Can you make a short statement about the Fed and how it affected and how it will further? See, it still doesn't make sense, but okay, it's relevant. Yes, so Fed, I did say it in the beginning of the stream, but I'll say it quickly for all the people joining up. Very, very interesting. They did increase rates as normal. They did a 0.25 increase rate, so there was no Fed pivot, right? There was no shock in the market that they completely threw interest rates to 0.5. They came out as expected. And Mr. Powell, he came out and said, hey, listen, guys, inflation is still a problem. We are not going to pivot until inflation is tamed. We are going to continue increasing interest rates until inflation is tamed. So that means that we can expect further rate hikes in the future until we start to see inflation start to cool down. And that's basically his plan. Hence, we saw the move up on gold because people are expecting more interest rates increases, right? So that's why we saw that. On top of that, what he also expects is that's also putting a lot of pressure on banks, right? On the smaller banks here. But in reality, you could also argue as a conspiracy theory that they want to put pressure on smaller banks because if there's more pressure on the smaller banks, that will lead them being acquired by the bigger banks, and all of the smaller companies, which are crypto companies, will be controlled by the bigger banks. And who controls the bigger banks is the government. And anyways, the government is being funded by the bigger banks, not the small banks. But that's another story. I won't get too complicated into that. But yeah, that's what I said. That's what I think is going to happen, right? I wonder if UK will follow. For me, that's going to be very interesting to see if UK will follow. If UK ends up following the footsteps of US, that's expected. But yesterday, their inflation data came out not too good. So today will be interesting to see if they're going to be more aggressive, or are they just going to come out and follow the same direction as US, but still constantly increase interest rates, right? Can you see Burj Khalifa out of your window? Not this window. This window is facing basically the beach side. But no, if I go outside my house and look to the left this way here, yeah, I can see Burj Khalifa. Bearish along the 4-hour chart for GJ. Yeah, I think the 4-hour is definitely bearish, but we're only at 4-hour support, which is my only concern here, right? So since we're at 4-hour support, makes it quite difficult to sell, right into it, like close to it. because we've had not only two rejections from here, so to expect it to come for a third time can be a little bit difficult. But if we start rejecting the top of this range, there might be a possibility we can trade to it, right? If 4-hour candles are clean, can I draw the support and resistance based 4-hour and without worrying about the daily levels? Yes, you can, but you also have to keep the daily level in the back of your mind, because if price starts rejecting, like you said, that 600 level, you have to understand that there is a possibility. But until it rejects it, it's not an issue. You have to see the reaction at that point. Sometimes it'll just push straight through then, and then you didn't have to worry about it. Most of these zones we draw on the chart is not zones to dictate exactly like your trade can only move to there. Your trade can stop before that zone. Your trade can move way past that zone. It's only in a place on the chart for you to make decisions, right? That's the only thing it does. Oh yeah, to all my Muslim brothers and people out there, Ramadan Kareem. To all people who are fasting, Ramadan Kareem. EJ. Okay, quick look. Yeah, closed above this resistance. Pretty hard to put stops somewhere. You know, you rather want to see a pullback or this to close like this in 10 minutes and break these highs here. But it's a pretty big move this already, right? Oops, this move. So I rather see either something like that and break the highs after a bearish candle to hold stops here, or a pullback to continue. But it makes sense to go up here. It makes sense to go up. If it doesn't do that, then it's probably gonna break down from there, right? Same to you, brother. Same to you. Welcome, welcome. Yeah, pretty chill. GJ is being pretty chill at the moment. Thanks, man. My lots of doubts are being cleared by you. Thank you. You're welcome. You ask the questions, you get answered. Simple as that. It's not rocket science, right? You ask a few questions, but don't be annoying, which you weren't, because you asked them. You go, you think about a question and ask it. I don't like people who are just asking random questions and want to be spoon-fed every single. I like well-constructed questions that are a serious concern. You know, so we're not getting spammed, but at the same time, you guys are benefiting, right? What candle pattern do I usually trade in my analysis? I don't trade candle patterns. I mostly trade closures of candles. So based on how candles closing, dictate if I can or cannot take a trade, right? That's mostly how I approach this. Can you look at Euro USD if you haven't? I came late. No, we haven't looked at Euro USD. Let's remember everyone, Hi, sharing our experience. Appreciate you, man. Euro USD. I haven't looked at Euro USD, so I can look at Euro USD. Daily time frame, definitely bullish here. No bottom wick is a little bit concerning, but definitely a lot of bullish momentum here. Yeah, this is very extended here. And now, since we've extended so much, we've ended up reaching this 4-hour resistance here. So this is the only potential threat to stop this move at the moment right now. But if we do get above it, I do expect this to continue up more bullish. The only issue is here is that we're very, very extended. Buying here is super risky because you don't know when it will stop. You have no confirmation. You have nothing to target. Now you're at like a double danger place. You're at 4-hour resistance and you're after a huge heavy move. So the best thing to do at this point is to sit on your hands and wait. Wait for something like this. This was a good option. Pullbacks to continue, but buying at this 4-hour resistance is not a shot. You need to at least wait for deeper pullbacks to continue or to get above, pull back and then continue. That's your safest option, right? Not to keep buying the highs. Buying the highs can work because it has a lot of volume and momentum, but it's not a good practice and at any point it could stop, right? Are the majority of my entries done at buy stops or sell stops? Depends on how the market's moving. Sometimes I just wait for flip or break or high and I'll just press the button itself. I'll have one-click trading open on my terminal and just press buy or sell. Sometimes if the candle's making a big bottom wick, I can just leave a buy stop there or a sell stop. So it means we're more bearish than bullish as the market was totally bullish before the Fed? No, it doesn't mean that. It just means that inflation is still a problem and the markets were all excited that there would be a pivot and there's no pivot. Doesn't mean we're bearish. Higher time frame, we're not out of bear markets on traditional stocks. Right? Higher. Even Bitcoin is not out of a bear market. This is just a rally, right? Look at traditional stocks, right? Let's go to the NAS, right? Higher time frame, we're still bearish here, right? Major swing high is not broken. We're accumulating. This is now basically a bottom here, but where we're just accumulating. I wouldn't be surprised to see this one more sweep, and then we get this type of normally, you know, this type of pattern where we break out something like that, right? We go to SPX, right? Same sort of thing we're seeing. We found a bottom here, but we're still slowly trading down. At any point, this can make basically like this, and then we can start heading down here before getting another upside move, right? So major markets are still not basically changed their stance here, right? We have found a bottom, and do I think that this is the low? It potentially can be the low of the markets, but I don't think we're gonna just start rallying from here like crazy. I could be wrong, and that's okay to be wrong, but personally I think no, we're not gonna see that. Can you give me an example of your previous trade, giving me your analysis? I have a trading strategy, but I'm interested in understanding your strategy a little better. Okay, I'll show you one trade. Let's say the one we took on Monday, because that's just here. We took sells also on actually sells were on Monday. This was on Tuesday, my bad. But if you really want to know more about my strategy, there's a full Forex course here that covers my strategy, right? This covers my strategy here. You can go and watch that Forex course. Apart from that, if you just want to look at the entries, I have top 3 price action entries that are common entries that I implement, right? But if we have a look at this trade here, we were bullish on this day here, looking for buys, and I can even cover the sell option we took here, right? Sell option's pretty, I'll cover the sell one. We close below, because this is more of an advanced one, right? A little bit interesting way to find an entry here. So we close below the support, but to close below the support, this stop loss here was 55 pips. I'm not playing 55 pips stop loss, too much, right? Even though our target here is 60 pips, 55 pips is not fun, okay? So I waited for the next candle to give me a pullback. We had no pullback. Eventually, when we went down to the lower time frames, we could see that price gave a pullback here. As this started to pull back and we saw this break the lows here and we get a retest on lower time frames, this allowed me to take a trade to target the next 5-minute support, which was somewhere around here. And so that was more of a 5-minute entry, finding a move. But the key thing to understand here, guys, is that the confirmation came from the bearish 15-minute close and the bearish 1 hour and the bearish 30-minute close. It did not come from just a 5-minute. Since the closes were so big, the candles were so big, I was just using the 5-minute to find an entry, right? That's basically it. Just give me a sec, I'll be back. Just going to the toilet here. BRB. Okay, so you technically wait for a move to the upside or downside and wait for valid pullback and then press. Not exactly. In that situation, I waited for a pullback. Sometimes, if a candle just closes above, I highly recommend you watch that top 3 price action entry. It will make it a lot clearer for you and you can understand. Just watch that top 3 price action entry. Alright, GJ, some volume here in the market at 11 o'clock here. We have no bottom wick on the 1 hour. So do I expect this to make a bottom wick? Yes, it's definitely possible here because most 1 hour candles have bottom wicks. So definitely interesting. We have no closes above this, so there's no trades. The last 1 hour closed, you know, with a rejection wick here, so giving us a little bit more bullish bias into the next few candles than bearish. But we're at the top of the range. We just retested the top of the range. Let's see the reaction, right? What day is it today? 23rd. So at what level would Bitcoin become bullish? It's not what level, bro. It's bullish. Depends on the time frame. It depends on the time frame. Higher time frame. We need to see, like if you're looking, you have to look at monthly time frame here, right? Monthly time frame. We need to see a higher low form. Okay. If we're looking at weekly, Bitcoin basically becomes bullish if we can make another weekly higher low, right? But this is the next zone we have to retest here. 29, basically 30,000. Right? You can see how we're still, this is basically, if we start getting above 31,000, starts to become very interesting here. Right, but we're kind of doing the same thing as stocks, right? We kind of made this is traditional reversal pattern, cup and handle they call it. On stocks, a lot of major stocks in 2008 had the same type of pattern here. But what I would like to see is price maybe make one more dip down, all the way down possibly to 17,000. And I think that's a possibility. That would give me huge confidence, right? I don't trade using patterns, but higher time frame, traditional, you can see these type of moves here, right? So we got the bottom wick now forming on the 1 hour, which is expected, right? So this is another thing. If candles are most likely to do something, you can expect it to happen, right? So everyone who's rushing into buys here, they just came straight back into drawdown. How long have you been trading for? Plus 3 years. Around 3 years actually. Yeah. End of 2019. But I was in crypto before. I was in crypto beginning of 2019. Started trading crypto midway 2019. Where did you learn trading for? Oh, long story, long. So when I started initially, I was in crypto, right? So I was learning trading. First person who I found who did trading, his name was Eric Crown, right? Eric Crown was a crypto YouTuber. So I started looking at what he did. And then I went into smart money concepts, believe it or not. Saw a video on smart money concepts, so it's interesting. I dove into smart money concepts. After learning the basics. Basics you just learn from random YouTube videos. You know, what is a candle? What is a trend? All of those stuff. Then I went smart money concepts and it sucked. You know, it was like, it was never consistent profitable. I'm like, this doesn't make sense. Setups don't come as often. I need a different way. So then I went back and looked, okay, who are the successful traders I know and what are they doing? And I found out that they're trading price action, right? So once I found out that they're trading price action, I started diving deeper into price action, looking at price action trading, developing a strategy and stuff like that. And then I did that, you know, and it was pretty simple because I had basic knowledge of analysis. By then I was doing heavy analysis on Bitcoin and stuff like that. So I already knew how to chart up a chart and stuff. It was more looking at finding entries and refining that, back testing, stuff like that. And then, yeah, then I basically honed in my skills. And then once I had like an average, you know, I had good chats with a guy called Trader Monty and, you know, kind of progressed and kept going from there, man. But I've never taken a direct mentorship or course from anyone. Never taken a course. Because there was no one that I could really find that I could trust. And by the time there were a few people, I was already at a level where I didn't need to have direct mentorship. If I could go back, I would definitely find someone I trust and who has good results, and I would have taken at least, you know, not a course. I don't think a course would be too useful. I think a course would have been a bit of a waste of my time because you can't really learn directly. But I would have, if there's someone who made things clear to me, I would have done something with them. But when I was learning Forex, there was mostly all the videos were just about Lamborghinis and lifestyle and making $1 million and flipping 1,000 to 10,000. It's all bullshit, you know, it's all bullshit. Doesn't get you anywhere. Because yeah, it's great. Watch them, you think you can't do the same. They're mostly faking it and doesn't get you anywhere, right? I'm happy for people to show their success, right? I'm happy for them to show their success, give some motivation, but you know, that shouldn't be everything about their videos. Your video still has to have some sort of value, some way other people can benefit and progress from it, right? Yes, I always lived where I lived. You reside in Canada. I usually trade London session, but sometimes New York, but London session around 3 a.m. for me. Yeah, that's pretty heavy, man. New York session is also perfect. You can trade New York session, you can do London, whatever works for you, man, whatever works for you. So yeah, guys, bit slow now, nothing much I can do. I think we know the plan here, and you guys have to build the confidence to execute the plan. That's why I started live streaming, so that you guys build the confidence to take these trades here, right? So wait for this closure above here, and then wait for some sort of support. If we don't close above, then you know it failed. And I want to see you guys, so join the group down below. If you're not subscribed, make sure to subscribe and turn on notifications so you get notified when we go live. And this is the plan, right? So we're waiting for those setups. Now we're just breaking out. There's 6 minutes we have to wait. So we're not going to do anything for 6 minutes. If this ends up closing above, creating support, we can take a trade. But it's up to you guys to build the confidence to take those trades. And yeah, join the group to make sure to share that, to ask questions if you're not sure if that was the correct setup or not. I'll be there replying, and I'll be in there. And yeah, I'll catch you hopefully very, very soon on the next stream. And last question here, how do we deal with our losses? Having a 30% on your trading account, hard to gain back and then profit from it. Well, you have to focus. Yeah, you have to. Yeah, you have to not focus on the next. You have to just focus on the next trade, not focus how much you lost. Count that as a lesson. That's how much you had to pay to learn. Remember, as traders, there's no startup cost. If you were to run a business, you have to pay staff, rent, whatever materials you need for your business, marketing expenditures. But in trading, we don't have any of these expenses. So you can count that as an expense and just focus on the next trade. And soon in the future, all of that you lost when you increase risk will become irrelevant. But just focus on not making the same mistakes that you made before, right? So GJ pushing here, 5 minutes until this close. We need to wait for the close before we can do anything, and then we can look to execute. So that being said, thank you all for joining, and yeah, hopefully have a good day, and hopefully see you very, very soon. Peace.